They sealed this place to hide what survived. They never destroyed it. They fed it. The black sector sat beyond the city limits, fenced off with rusted steel and warning signs no one read anymore. 4 officers crossed the barricade just before dawn, their boots crunching over ground that felt unsettlingly soft, almost spongy. The air was thick and damp, clinging to their lungs, carrying the stench of rot and long-abandoned chemicals. There were no animals here, no birds, no insects, just a profound, suffocating silence. The first bodies were scattered along the road. Civilians, their skin was gone, stripped away with a terrifying precision, leaving muscle exposed and shining wet under the grey light. Their faces were frozen in pure terror, jaws stretched impossibly wide, eyes bulging as if death had taken its time. But what was truly chilling was that their insides were missing. Not torn out, not stolen. They were processed. One of them was still alive. He was pinned upright against a wall, his chest split open, his ribs bent outward like broken gates. His heart still beat, exposed and trembling in the cold air. Then they saw it. Something was moving inside his torso, shifting beneath the organs, stretching the flesh from within. That's when it dropped from above. It was too tall, far too thin. Its skin was stretched translucent over twisted muscle, with veins crawling like worms just beneath the surface. Its arms were bent backward at the joints, dragging along the ground while its legs moved, snapping into new angles with every step. Its head splits vertically. Bone plates rotated, grinding together with a humming sound. It didn't rush. It chose its target. One officer was lifted clean off the ground. His helmet was crushed between clawed fingers, his skull cracking open before his body even hit the concrete. Another tried to fire his weapon. The bullets tore holes through the creature's flesh, but it didn't even slow down. It folded him in half, his spine snapping with a sickening crack, and dragged the twitching remains into the darkness. Then the walls began to move. Concrete split open. A black organic growth peeled back from the surface. More of them crawled out, dragging themselves free from the buildings as if the structures themselves were merely discarded skins. The remaining officers were pulled screaming into doorways, into ceilings, into holes that hadn't existed seconds before. The screams turned wet, then fell silent. One of the creatures turned its torso outward, revealing its inner structure. Inside were human faces. Dozens of them melted together, stretched across a canvas of muscle and bone. Their eyes blinked independently. Their mouths chewed slowly, mechanically. They were alive. They had been alive for a very, very long time. The ground collapsed beneath the last 2 officers, plunging them into a pit. This wasn't a grave. It was a nest. Hundreds of bodies were fused together, layered and growing, breathing in unison through shared lungs. Arms twitched, spines rippled through the mass. Some victims had no skin, others no legs. Some were only heads embedded into the pulsating flesh, their mouths opening and closing in silent agony. This was where all the missing people went. One officer tried to crawl away. A claw pierced his spine and lifted him upright. In a single clean motion, his skin was peeled off his body like a sheet, still steaming in the morning air. It was stretched and pressed against the wall, becoming another piece of the living structure. The last survivor wasn't unalived. He was planted. Tubes pierced his stomach. His organs were rearranged, threaded together, and connected to the mass. His chest was left open, his eyes forced wide, watching as his own body became another part of the farm. Days later, recovery teams entered the black sector. They found no bodies, no blood, no signs of a struggle. All they found were thicker walls and deeper, blacker growth. You see, Wudang doesn't lose people. It feeds them to what lives underneath.